But so when we go to the lower extremities, again, what we're going to do is we're gonna group these things according to function, according to what needs to move. Again, muscle moves, right? That's all it does. It shortens, actually. It shortens, that's all it does. And when it shortens, it moves things around. So we're going to have a joint here. We're going to have that hip thing. We're going to have to move that hip thing around. We're going to have less of a problem keeping the scapula in the trunk area because we don't really have the scapula on the clavicle. We just have the pelvis. And we're going to have to, the pelvis is already anchored onto the actual skeleton, really, through the side joint and all those strong ligaments, and then you get into the hip. And so the hip is really the the hip is really the femur going into the pelvis. So we want to move that around. We want to move that around forward, we want to move that backwards, we want to move that sideways, and we want to move that, well, outward, abduction, and adduction. So all these directions. So the hip is pretty good. It's not as good as this, but it's pretty flexible. Then we're going to have the knee. And what does the knee do? The knee really does flexion extension. That's about all it does. A little bit of rotation, but very gentle, just to stabilize itself, not really to do anything. And then we get to the ankle. And what does the ankle do? The ankle goes up and down. Oh, look at that. I think it's so much. That'll be a slapstick on my face, man. So the ankle goes up and down, flexion extension. Here we call that dorsiflexion, it's going up, toes up, and plantar flexion is toes down. And then on this one, remember when you twist your ankle, it kind of goes sideways. It goes like supination, pronation, but it's not quite doing that because the fibula doesn't move on. So it's inversion, going invert, the way you sprain the ankle, and eversion going the opposite, having the little toe going out. So those are the two motions there. So now we got to have muscles that do all these things. So the first group of muscles that I want to start talking about are the lateral rotators. So, oh yeah, I forgot a motion. Now, first motion I forgot. We're going to have, when you go to ballet, they can stand like with these 2 feet going sideways, just one line. So that hip or the foot needs to go in and out. But you're not doing that motion in the foot, you're actually doing that motion up in your butt. So you're going to move this motion where the foot goes inward and outward, you're going to do that, moving that from the hip. Does that make sense? Okay. So those muscles that bring the foot outward this way are the lateral rotator muscles. That's lateral rotation. So that's the outward movement. So where do you think those muscles are going to attach? You think they're going to attach in the front of the pelvis? You think they're going to attach on the side of the pelvis? That's not bad. They end up attaching in the back. So those muscles end up attaching here in the butt, from the butt area to the femur on the outside most point, which is going to be the greater trochanter. And so they're going to be from here to here. And so when they do that, so on your own self, that's from here to here. When you contract that muscle, you bring the foot out. Does that make sense? So you always look at biomechanical advantage, like engineering thinking. That's just biomechanical. And so we have a multitude of those muscles. We have one that comes from right here, the sacrum that goes out, and look at that, it's called the piriformis. Right from here to the sacrum, it goes out to the greater trochanter. And then we've got a few smaller ones down there, which we don't really worry about. The superior gemellus, the inferior gemellus. They have what is called obturator internus, quadratus femoris. Small stuff down here. For us, what we need to know is just we got the piriformis and then a few more. I'm not going to worry about it because the function is pretty similar in terms of what they do. So the piriformis does that. It brings that foot outward. But what it also does, it helps stabilize the spine because it's attached on the sacrum and then out here. So it reaches inward, and when you think of the spine that turns both sides to the side, down here, it's sort of helped by the piriformis in terms of its contraction, or how the side of the spine bends. It doesn't really bend it, but it stabilizes it, and that's pretty important. Then the next group that we're going to do is the group that does abduction. What's abduction? That's bringing the foot outward, right? So that's bringing it out like that. So when we think about the femur is attached here and needs to go outward, where do we think those muscles going to attach? Probably on the outside. On the outside, right? So when we have muscles that attach here on the hip and somewhere here on the femur on the outside, it's going to, when the muscle contracts, it's going to pull this nice thing up. Make sense? So let's go through them. We have a few of them. We have gluteals, the butt muscles, on the back here. They're right in here. And then we got the tensor fascia lata, and that comes here from the front. The first two are the gluteus medius, the gluteus minimus. And those come from the iliac fossa right here, external iliac fossa, one below and one on top, and they anchor each into the greater trochanter on the outside. And so when those muscles contract, they're going to pull that leg outward like that. The femur, the greater trochanter is a pretty big muscle attachment place for a lot of muscles. Already we got the back ones coming that turn it outward, and now we got the side ones, the abduction coming that bring it up. Yes? The abduction is bringing it back in. We're going to go through those. That's going to come. Abduction is the way. So the AB and then the AD, I do adding in the math.
Right.
And so those are those. We have a medius, we have a minimus, which is for us is fine if it's a group right now. Okay, the gluteals, those two as a group. And then overlaying that muscle, we have a gluteus maximus. That's the one that we see, the butt muscle we see. That actually starts back here on the sacrum and on the back of the iliac crest. The thing that's the PSI, PSI. And this one reaches now not into the greater trochanter, but into a tight, flat tendon, an aponeurosis, the same we had up here in the skull bone. And if you look at your model, you see that on the outside here. That white thing. If you're a runner, you know it because it probably hurts. If you palpate yourself and you rub it on the outside, you can probably make it a little tender. And that's known as the tensor, the iliotibial tract. Iliotibial tract, because that thing starts pretty much up here in the ilium and goes into it goes actually into the fibula and a little bit of the tibia. Goes on the outside. But if you think about having a long tendon going on the outside here, that's kind of good because you can sort of think it pulls on the knee and brings it out. So now you have a lever that goes here close, and you have one that reaches down. And so together, that's pretty nice. We can do that. Because the alternative would be you've got something sticking out here and then going down this way, then you have a mechanical advantage to bring this knee out, and that's just not good. It will be hard to get it to force that way. So that's the gluteus maximus. It's an interesting muscle. The gluteus maximus also, if you think about it, comes from here and goes into this band. It's in the back, so it also extends the thigh a little bit. It's also going to bring it back. And then we got the tensor fascia lata. Oh, and on your model, let's go to your model real quick. You got that big thing on top? That's the gluteus maximus. You can take that thing away. Underneath, we got a few muscles. The gluteus medius or minimus, it's kind of hard to know which one is which. So that's just that piece there. And then you got this nerve here. That yellow stuff is nerve. Whenever you see yellow in these books, it's nerve. And that's the sciatica. And the thing that goes right through the sciatic nerve is the piriformis muscle, which is the thing that I forgot. If you have sciatica, which is pain, shooting pain below the knee, not above the knee, below the knee, otherwise it's more referred, you can have a problem in your spine, down in here, where a disc is irritating the nerve as it comes out of the spine, but very likely your piriformis is tight, and can squeeze that nerve right there and can cause that same symptomatology. So that's all. They call that a piriformis. So that's what that is. And then, so we have the piriformis, the Gluteus Medius minimus, the Gluteus maximus on top of it, and that reaches into the IT band right here. And now when you follow the IT band, you can also go to the front, and in the front we have another muscle. And that muscle is the TFL, the tensor fasciae lata. And that's attached right here at the front, more or less, the tip of the crest in the front. It goes back a little bit, and then it goes sideways, a little posterior, into that IT band on the side. You see it right here. It's the other side of it. You see it right here coming in here, and then going into the IT. So now you can see how the muscle from the back and then from the front, anchoring to this IT band, how they nicely can bring that leg out to abduction. We have it right here, the big one from the back and one from the front, grabbing into the IT band, and that brings it nicely to the side. But this now brings us to the group that does hip flexion. Brings the thigh upward. And where are you thinking of those? Probably here in the front. Again, muscle shortens. You can see a motion. You think, where are the muscles that shorten when you do that motion? That's probably where the muscles are that do it. So these here in the front, hip flexors. The big hip flexors that we have are the two muscles called the Iliopsoas. Combined, we call the Iliopsoas. There's two muscles that start in two different places, but they anchor in one insertion. So the psoas, which gives you a sore ass, if you look at the picture down there, it goes and refers to the butt. So that way you remember it. But the psoas ass muscle starts right here on the front of the vertebral column, all the way up to T12, down to L5, the whole thing. And then it reaches down and goes right into the lesser trochanter right here, on the inside of the thigh. And you can see when that thing grabs that inside of the thigh and it contracts, it will bring it up. It's very powerful. And I'm saying sore ass because a lot of us, we're sitting all the time. That muscle, when we sit, is shortened. It gets adhesions in there, and then it starts hurting. And so one thing is when you do lunges, you stretch that muscle out, and that can be helpful, especially if you sit for a long time. You just sort of stretch it out, not having to be crinkled up. So that's the psoas. And then we have the iliacus, and the iliacus is the second one that then combined and makes the iliopsoas. And that one starts at the internal iliac fossa and goes into the same place, the lesser trochanter. So now we got a muscle that comes from the low spine, goes into the lesser trochanter. We got a muscle from the iliac fossa, goes into the trochanter. Together, they're really strong in raising that thigh up. Lots of times, this is causation of pain. Also, when we looked at the back,